all over. The season was over. We had a new Stanley Cup champion, and we're already at the draft. In that amount of time, we're already starting to start it up again, and there's countdown 4 months to the supposed start of the 2021 NHL season. Welcome to Obey the Puck. I'm Dan Calachico. Follow me on Twitter, DanLo83. Kelly is at, follow Obey the Puck. Podcast at Obey Puck Show. I don't know why Mark's coming in here. So I'm not going to let him in.
Mark's got his weeks mixed up, maybe.
I think somebody go in the messenger, tell him he's not part of this one. And Paul Baker, you can follow him at PuckmanRI. And Mark, since he's kind of sitting in the room, I was just going to say follow him at Ballpark Hunter, which has nothing to do with hockey. That's why he's not coming in here. Anyway,
Mark is a hocky fan, though. Maybe he could also.
He isn't a hockey fan. Ask him if you ask him if he wants to come in for a specific reason, and I'll let him in.
Mark did drop an SPHL announcement.
Are you talking group chat? Yeah, that's true. That's right. I saw that. Do you want me to let him in, or do you want to?
He'll have to pay the fee.
Oh, he'll have to pay the fee.
Cover charge.
I didn't say that. Paul said that. I didn't say that, Mark. Just remember that. I didn't say that.
Canadian tax on Obey the Puck.
No, that's Dave.
Oh.
I'm going to have fun with those guys in the you want on? Here, I'll ask like that. You want on? You want on? I am robot. So anyway, the NHL season has come and gone.
We are off to a flying start.
Every night. Let's face it, every night it's like this. Season's over. And thankfully, without a hitch, in fact, one of the superstars waited until the whole season was over and the Stanley Cup champion was crowned before he tested positive for coronavirus. And I'm talking about Connor McDavid. He has tested positive yesterday. But in all seriousness, I hope he's okay, and I'm sure he'll be fine. He's in great shape. If you're going to get it, you're in that good of a shape. Hell, kick that off like a cold.
Eduardo Rodriguez from the Red Sox may beg to differ.
I don't know what happened.
He got COVID, and he's missing the season with a heart problem.
Oh, well, that's a problem.
Yeah. No, I don't know if he had it already, but he had to sit out this season.
Well, the least of the Red Sox problems. Well, I hope he's okay.
Yeah. I think he is going to be, but, yeah, we just don't know.
And so you don't want to screw around with this. I don't want to get into too much of it, but all this that's happened in the States the last couple of days, and just like, no, just go about your business. Oh, okay. If you say so. Oh, boy. That's
yeah, because if something happens to you, some helicopters will stop by, pick you up, and take you right to a top-flight military medical facility, and where you'll get the finest treatment, the latest state-of-the-art treatment, and it'll be absolutely no cost to you or your family.
No. You get the top flight treatment. That's why we're all told to calm down and just deal with it, because we're going to have the access to the same medicines as anybody else would. If you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was what was lost in all that. Again, just skim the surface. I thought it was funny, Paul, and you're in the field, that of all of the back and forth through the certain somebody of the United States who was sick the last week, and let's face it, he is still sick. Not here to debate the great caca, but anyway, lost in all this was the point I made. I stayed silent about it on social media, but the point I kept bringing up in private was he has access to stuff that Joe Blow down the street, who's at the same age, won't have access to because he can't afford it. So let's not be hasty with the whole it's fine, Superman did it. He was pumped full of more drugs than Nikki Sixx was his whole life.
Did Nikki Sixx just go back into rehab too? Or was that no, it was Tommy Lee.
That was Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee was bad, and he had to go back in. Well, same difference. Keith Richards, just insert drug rock and roll guy into this joke. More drugs pumped into that man in the last 48 hours.
Yeah. And rest in peace, Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah. Yeah, the best song they ever did was off the Twister soundtrack, and I'll fight to the death on that one. That's a good song.
It is.
What, Kelly?
Nothing.
It's a good song. Anyway.
You talking about the instrumental, or you talking about Humans Being?
No, Humans Being. Great single. So, back to the task at hand.
Hey, are you aware of the Brian May Eddie Van Halen song that I put up?
No.
Have you ever heard that one?
No. I'll check it after the.
They did an EP in 1983.
I had no idea that existed.
It was the prize jewel of my record collection when I had a record collection. Brian May, Eddie Van Halen, Phil Chen, who was in Rod Stewart's band, and a few other ones. And I don't know who the drummer is off the top of my head, but they did 3 or 4 songs. One was a remake of a Japanese cartoon theme song.
That could be anything.
Starfleet.
Starfleet?
Album
Starfleet. Project Starfleet. Yeah, all right.
Starfleet Project.
No, I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, it's awesome. You can tell. Here's Brian May playing. Here's Eddie Van Halen playing.
Yeah, you can definitely tell. Back to the task at hand. The NHL season went off without a hitch, Kelly. I know by the Stanley Cup final you were kind of tuned out of it, but it went off without a hitch, though.
Yeah. Very happy that they were able to pull it off. It's amazing what isolation and unending test of everybody constantly can do.
Whatever do you mean?
It's almost like there's a solution to everything, but So,
no.
And they were in Canada, which helped tremendously. And no one tried to sleep with the medical staff, apparently, as far as we know.
Well, if there were girls there, all the men would have been so distracted because...
Well, yes.
Whew,
so there were no women there.
Whew, man.
Nothing can happen if it's just all men.
No. That was the other thing. That's the other thing when that happened that we didn't mention. I was like, men sleep with men too and vice versa. Like...
Oh, don't break Mike Milbury's fragile little mind.
Sorry.
He has no idea. Don't bring that into his world. He can't handle that.
I'm not allowed to talk about it, so I'll just keep my fat little mouth shut. Very good point, Kelly. But yeah, Paul, your thoughts? It went off without a hitch, testing, all that good stuff that Kelly sarcastically just mentioned that everybody totally has access to.
And the right team won.
Well, I mean,
Tampa was the best team from start to finish in the bubble. They deserved it.
Debatable.
No, it's not.
Arguable. Yeah, it is. I don't care.
No,
I care about Steven Stamkos and his missed cup. I don't care. I did like that he was. I'm kidding, by the way. For anybody who was like, "What?" I'm kidding.
Oh, I wasn't rooting for them. I hate Tampa.
Oh well,
because they're in my division. But
I wonder why.
I thought they were the best team.
I did like Stamkos coming on for the one shift and immediately putting the puck in the back of the net and going, "All right, well, I'm done.
I'm out.
See you later." Anything that stands out to you about the whole thing, game-wise, procedurally, bubble-wise, anything at all that you cap off the end of this very odd and very different NHL season?
I think it showed the value of having fans in the building and the value of home ice and that an atmosphere can have.
Kelly, you.
The only thing I really take away from it was I would hope that the NHL leans into the irreverent humor that they kind of had throughout it, which I liked. I liked that they were like, yeah, this is weird, and we're going with it. It was refreshing. I mean, they did plenty of the kind of sappy stuff too that sports always kind of goes into especially for TV coverage. But I did like that they kind of were poking fun at themselves, and had some fun with it. They desperately need some kind of personality in the game. It's so white and so boring. And just any kind of different outlook, they desperately need that.
Please clarify you don't just mean race, because somebody's going to be like, "Wah!"
Right, you mean bland, not.
Yeah, well, yeah, white bland equals there's a reason it equals that, but yes.
Yeah, one of the MVPs of the whole tournament had to be whoever was doing the scoreboard in Edmonton.
Yeah.
You know, like say, please drive home safely. Fans, when the game's over, please drive home safely. You know,
Yeah.
stuff like that is exactly what you're saying.
Have fun with it. It's ridiculous. And I would hope that, you know, maybe they could become the league that has a sense of humor. I doubt it highly because we've seen the overwhelming need for some reason to go back to the way things were, which was never that great. So I don't know. That's what I hope for.
Are you talking about that ad that they put up in the finals that showed that to win the cup you need to have blood and guts and you need to break legs and you need to bleed and eat all over the ice?
Honestly,
they took it down. They took
it down. Yeah, you would have never seen it because the next day they took it down. And let me just add, I didn't have a problem with that ad. I don't care.
I honestly had checked out pretty early into the conference finals. I did not care. Once the Penguins and Bruins were out, I had no one to root against. So I was like, I'm cool with anyone who wins. I always root for a new team to win. You know, a team that's never won before is always going to be kind of where it was. And like I had said, I think in a previous show, I really kind of fell for the Canucks team. That team is so much fun to me. I like that group of players a lot, and that was really the first time I'd seen them consistently. So I'll probably follow them a little bit more than I have in the past, which was zero. So not a high bar to clear. But yeah, by the conference finals, I was bored with it, and I think a lot of that has to do with what Paul was talking about. There's no atmosphere. There's nothing to feed off of, and yeah, it was bizarre.
I have this. The older I get, the more I come to terms with it. I'm just not. Dean said it jokingly, seriously, sarcastically years ago when we first started HIAC, where he just tweeted one time, Dan, to a reply I said, he goes, Dan, you're on another planet. You're not with us. and knowing
a sentiment which has been repeated often in the
very often. And listen, I get it. The older I get, the more I come to grips with and I don't mean this that I'm better than anybody. Some people I am. Not everybody. That I'm faster. I'm somewhere else. I'm 3 steps ahead of something where everybody else is like, hey, we're still over here finishing this thing over here. Can you come back? Like the reason why Dean brought that up, the quick version of, he told a joke, threw me to the punchline on purpose, and by the time I processed, it was like that. It was right away I replied. But by the time he said it, and the air got back to me, my brain had thought of 3 steps ahead, like the first joke, second joke, and then the third joke. By the time it came out, it didn't make any goddamn sense. And I was like, well, no, because you got to go here. He goes, why didn't you just go to the first thing? I was like, because I passed that. I was gone. The same thing is watching sports. It's hard to explain what my brain does because Kelly will sit there with me and watch the same game, and I will be doing 15 other things, but I will, unless it's commercials when she wants me to see something very specifically and I miss it, she goes, what were you watching? I was like, I was paying attention. No, you weren't. You missed that. But I'll get the same amount of information the way I watch things than she would. Is that making sense? I can do 2 other things and still be paying attention. Or I have the other extreme where I'm just focused and tunneled in, and the bomb could go off in the kitchen and it wouldn't faze me. So with that being said, I usually mute sports in general because announcers in general piss me off. I'm just not at the same speed with the announcers either. So I've been doing this as a kid where I will mute, especially if I'm alone and I don't have to worry about anybody else's entertainment. I'll mute the hell out of that, and I'll have music going or something else going. So nothing was lost on me as far as presentation, right? The few times I did listen, I got stuff like the Mike Milbury crap where I was like, what the F, why am I listening to this? And turn it off and mute it. Or I just get to the boring go between periods, and I'm just like, all right, that's great, mute. So I don't. At first, I was like sharing my opinion about the experience about watching with no fans. And then I realized the sound doesn't change for me. So I stopped having an opinion. So to me, the game was the same in that respect. It didn't seem different because I watch it the same way. Does that make sense? How I just explained it? So so to me, it was, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I couldn't have cared less about Dallas and Tampa Bay. Couldn't have cared.
And the hockey was great, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that last game, man, it was like a light trouncing, if that makes sense. Like they really didn't beat the crap out of the Dallas Stars, but they kind of did.
They were in control the whole.
They were just like, no, this is happening right now. It's our time, not yours. Which that Dallas squad has a chance to be real powerful next year too, but we'll talk about that in a second.
I did think it was interesting, and this has just dawned on me. We finally had a pretty much travel neutral playoffs, because that was always one of those things that you would hear in the past was, well, if Western teams just didn't have to do the crazy travel that they have to do in the playoffs, then they would just trounce any Eastern Conference team. I don't think that's so much a thing anymore, but back in the day, that was always like, well, if Detroit just didn't have to travel so much all year long, and then during the playoffs, they could crush everybody. And
now we can just say 2020.
And actually, the Eastern team traveled the two Eastern. Well, it doesn't matter; they didn't play until the end. But
yeah.
The Eastern team actually did travel technically further because they had to go to Edmonton.
Yeah. And I guess we can say that Mike Milbury was the big loser of the whole bubble tournament.
Yeah.
Mike Milbury or the Penguins.
The Penguins. Sure. Milbury. I'll pick Milbury just because that seems to stick.
Both can be losers.
Yeah, both are okay. I have breaking news kind of as far as hockey goes. I'll talk about that in a second. It's nothing important. It's just aesthetically. I have breaking news. So let me also bring up the last thing, because I didn't think we were going to have this discussion, but I guess we're going to have this discussion because I saw way too many people saying asterisk on the Stanley Cup. Asterisk doesn't count. Did we forget that they played 97% of their season?
But there was a break in the middle.
Oh, get the hell out of here! It's odd to me. Somebody explained this to me on the show. It's odd to me when we pick to be mad at people who make a lot of money, more money than us, right? So I was not allowed to support the big rich man who left his family for 3 months and played almost every day to win a championship. Because they were in a bubble and it was so cushy, it didn't count. My brain hurts. No, that's not it. It did count. They did play basically a full season. They came back and played extra games, and then they played again almost every day to get that trophy. If the asterisk should say anything, it was like, asterisk, this was really tough this year.
Yeah,
this was
even harder.
Difficult, yeah.
Even harder than the playoffs normally are, which is that is a high bar to go over.
Yeah. So your thoughts on that whole thing, the asterisk thing, or is that pretty much it, Kel?
Yeah.
Paul,
no, there's no asterisk.
Somebody put up a tweet that encapsulated it perfectly. There's an asterisk unless my team wins.
What did I call it? Asterisk?
Asterisk, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Is it? Did I say that wrong? Because I say words wrong all the time.
I don't know. I wasn't really. I knew what word you were saying. I don't know.
God damn it!
How did you say it?
Asterisk.
I'm looking it up now.
It's asterisk.
It's asterisk.
Asterisk.
Yeah, it's an SK at the end.
Ah, God damn it. Well, moving on. The announcement is...
There was not an asterisk. No.
God damn it. We'll put an asterisk on that pronunciation.
I did call it. You didn't mention that. I called the final.
Oh,
after game one.
You did.
Literally after game one, I called it.
Really?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Dallas, Tampa Bay. Yes, you did.
Why didn't we go to Vegas then?
I
Because we
know.
can't.
Oh yeah, we can't.
Yeah, I don't know. Remember, guys, Southern hockey never works, which we'll talk about in a second. Also, Southern professional hockey.
Yeah, that was also the that's got to be the furthest south the Stanley Cup was ever competed for. However, it was actually really far north.
Yeah.
That's what
No,
I
it was. Kelly, you're right. It was.
That's what I was saying. It's the southernmost Stanley Cup, but was played as far north as you could get for hockey. Like, that was it. Man, this year is weird as hell.
Isn't it ironic, don't you think?
Don't you think? Wow. Even yeah. Alanis Morissette. You know she's God.
She was God in the movie, wasn't she?
She was God in Dogma, the movie. Don't you forget that. Yes, she's God. Of course it's a she. So, 2 New Jerseys. Well, I say 2 New Jerseys. Here's the breaking news. The Coyotes have announced that the Kachina will be the home jersey next year.
What a surprise.
Yeah, I know. I'm shocked as much as you are. So, yeah, that's considering that. Isn't like isn't like that red kind of like not that? It's not that old, is it?
It's only a couple seasons.
It's 25 years, by the way. It's the 25th anniversary, which I did not know.
Oh, for the Kachina?
They've
Yes.
been in Arizona for 25 years?
No, for Arizona, the team itself.
Yeah.
They're also bringing back the giant purple and beige crescent moon that used to be there when they were at Digia River, whatever the hell it was called in Glendale. East Jabumble F Arena, whatever it was.
Yeah.
East Jabumble F Arena.
East Jabumble F. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think we're gonna see a lot of that because Calgary announced that they're going to their retros as well, and I think that's 2 things. One is the retro stuff has been outselling the regular uniforms, obviously, but 2, the jersey manufacturer and the teams don't have to take any chance of putting out a new design that doesn't sell in these economic times. They already know the retro stuff will sell, so they can just, that's what we're going with. And, when things get back to quote unquote normal, then you might see some new stuff again. But I'd be very surprised if we see any team coming out with something that's actually new.
Wow, that's a good point. I never thought of it that way.
I have a counter argument, though. This might be a hot take, but wouldn't it be detrimental to a guy who would collect, a guy or girl, anybody I meant, who collects all their jerseys, who already has something they have, to not buy it again?
Oh, sure. But those kind of jersey changes aren't about the diehards. They're about selling a jersey to someone who would normally not buy it.
Because that if the Flyers redo their 80s, 90s jerseys, I'm buying another one. But the point is...
And the diehard collectors will often buy it anyways, because in this case, it's going to be on a different manufacturer will have made it, so it will be different than what they were in the 90s, because those were, I don't know, Reeboks or whatever they were.
Identical, the striping or something will be a different.
Yeah, the cut and the thing. Yeah, because all the Adidas ones, which is what all the NHL teams wear now, it's a different template.
But even the Flyers, so in 2010, they went back to essentially what they wore in the 60s and 70s with a lighter orange. Or it's not darker, it's brighter orange. Thank you, Kelly. It's brighter. It's not a lighter orange. It's kind of brighter. The old jerseys, the original jerseys up until 83, 84 were a different shade of orange completely. Then so that was Reebok. I couldn't think of the name. And then when the Adidas came out, they just kind of moved the striping and the trims and, as Kelly was saying, all the cuts around just enough to sharpen it up, but not enough for me to go, I need that, because it's exactly the same. It's not exactly. It was close enough to the same as the one that they've been wearing since 2010. I don't need to wear it anymore. I need, like the Stadium Series jerseys. I bought the last 2 of them because they were different enough. I needed those. But as far as a retro, I got them. I'm excited they bring the retro back because I got a Hextall jersey still. If the Flyers would ever do that, I'm ready to go. I have a question real quick. We could do this quickly. Since we're talking about jersey changes, because then I have one more jersey announcement. Is there a jersey that came out that you didn't like when they wore it, they didn't wear it for very long, went back to something else that you wish they still had because you're like, that's not a bad jersey? I'll start. The Flyers Reebok Edge, where it had those extra cuts in the sleeves and in the chest, made it look like a sleeveless shirt. That fits Philly, by the way. And I hated that at first. I remember I used to work with Kerry Huffman at a mortgage company, and the day they announced it, I walked in to his office to go to the Flyers website, look at this. And we both looked at them and went, That's now one of my favorite jerseys. The whole set, I love those jerseys. And at first I was like, they suck. Do you guys have something like that? Kelly, really particularly, I know I threw this on you, but do you have one you can think of right now that?
I don't know if I've ever paid that much attention to any NHL jerseys.
Not NHL, hockey in general.
Oh, hockey in general?
If there was a team that had a jersey that you hated, and so did everybody else, got rid of, went back, or did something else, but then years later you're like, I really liked that jersey now that you mention it.
Well, in the minors, there's not a lot of chances for teams to go back because by the time they go back, that team is done usually. Okay, well, kind of an odd one. I did not like the SPHL Richmond Renegades initially, and then that team was gone in 3 years, something like that. And then, and that was the end of hockey in Richmond. And kind of looking back on it now, I really kind of like that jersey, and I kind of want one. And when I could have easily gotten one, I actually had season tickets for that team. I didn't go many times, but I was trying to support the team. I could have picked them up, especially cheaply at the very end when they knew it was the end and they were getting rid of them. But I didn't, because at the time I still hated them, and I kicked myself every once in a while for that.
Here's the thing about Kelly, though. What you don't know is in about a week or two, that jersey will show up at the door. Because she will find out where it is and who has one and make a trade for it, because she has 100 jerseys she could select to trade and get one. So I will expect by the next episode we'll be holding up this one. This is the one she was talking about. Paul, go ahead.
Oh, I've been racking my brain since you asked the question. A jersey I hated when it came out, but now I wish would come back.
Yeah,
the original Anaheim Mighty Ducks jersey.
You hated that?
When it first came out, yes. The purple one with the skull and crossbones duck mask.
Right.
Didn't like it, but now it's the best jersey they've ever had.
Well, see, yeah, I was talking to Kelly about that. I said, since they're original jerseys, these jerseys have been lame as hell. All of them.
And now they wear orange ones that just say ducks on them.
Yeah, that just say Flyers ripoff. Just say, yeah, I said it. Anybody who wears orange is ripping us off, and that's the way I go. You know what jersey, Kelly, that I hated when it first came out? The one I'm wearing. I hated the girders on the shoulder.
Oh, that's great.
I know. Yes, I know. Now I know. That's what it's.
The mascot's kind of creepy, but
not this guy.
Jerseys.
No.
Fantastic.
He's not
creepy. Short guy. Yeah, he's creepy.
No, Rivet was fine. No, there's nothing wrong with Rivet. Philly teams have no history of creepy mascots at all. The other jersey announcement, I guess, would be the Vegas Golden Knights are getting a third jersey.
Yeah.
And let me just say this hot take. It's better than their home jersey. I love this jersey. I know it's like the Penguins. It's not like the Penguins. Stop it. It's a beautiful jersey. This is how I envisioned it in the first place. I did not expect them. To go with the darker home jersey. I thought it was going to be brighter, something with gold because it's Vegas. Boy, I was wrong. I've grown to like those jerseys, but this one is I almost cursed. It's fantastic. And I'm real happy they're doing it. And it kind of, in my opinion, I'm going to say another spicy hot take on this, it kind of overshadows the Kraken jersey.
Well, we haven't seen.
That's true. It's just a picture, but I'm just like, I need more because right now that's my favorite jersey coming up is the new Golden Knights. The new Golden Knights.
What? You don't like the Ottawa Senators retro new?
Shut up, Paul. No.
We were talking about teams going retro.
No.
I don't know if a team that's only 25 years old can go retro, but.
Well, I mean, the Coyotes are doing it, so why not, you know?
Yeah.
The only difference between the Coyotes and the Senators is it's the Coyotes' original jersey and the Senators' original jersey. Has anything about their design ever been good?
No.
Ottawa? Yeah, no.
No. Kelly, your thoughts on that?
I'm sorry. Is there a significance to black and red as their colors? Is that like a Parliament color scheme or something?
I always thought it was a throwback to the original Senators, but that's based on guesswork.
Maybe one of our listeners knows.
Yeah, somebody from Canada might know. Kelly, your thoughts on the Golden Knights third jersey?
It's very gold, which I'm not a fan of, but it's perfect for Vegas. Sleeve thing is cool. The like embossed stuff that they put in the white stripe on it is really cool. But yeah, I'm
Okay. Well, I guess that only leaves where we're going next, because as we speak, literally, the NHL Draft is on the TV, as they say in Westmont, New Jersey. And their start of a January 1st start for the season. Training camp date is going to come later. We've kind of talked about it and kind of held back on speculating long enough. I don't think they're going to start the season in a bubble. I don't see how they can do a 30. How many teams are there now?
30. Seattle playing this year?
No,
next year.
So 31.
31.
I almost said 32, and I wasn't sure. Excuse me. I don't see 31 teams, whatever, going into a bubble.
For 4 months, 5 months? No, you can't do that.
You think they do like a divisional round robin and then converging into another bubble? Yeah, I don't like it either, Paul. But how the hell are you going to risk it like football and baseball? Because that's been great so far. Football's been great.
It was awesome having Brian Moyer start for the Patriots last night.
I was going to say,
Cam Newton.
How was that Cam Newton career in New England that ended all of a sudden? Maybe. By the way, he has the best meme on the internet today now.
Really?
Him sitting down on the bench all the way to the floor.
Oh, sliding down, yeah.
Even I was like, Cam Newton's not so bad. Because he's on an opposing team. I'm like, I like this guy. Oh, I'm sorry, brother of hockey prospect. Are we keeping you awake? This guy cuts right to this family. Might get drafted by the Devils. And he's just looking at his brother. Come on, man.
I like the guy that got picked number 3. They said, well, it's after 1 a.m. And they're all in a party in Germany, man.
Yeah, that was cool. Hey, did you see? There you go, the draft. Okay, so we're talking about the draft and what's coming up. The guy who announced that draft pick.
These people look like they're in their laundry room. Could they have a smaller space?
No, I think that's probably their laundry closet.
Yeah.
Everybody get in here. That's where we can get. You know what? Get closer. Who was it? It was the number 3 pick that was picked by Alex Trebek.
Yes.
That was cool. And then the Jets pick, they got Dale Howardchuck's wife, Crystal, to announce the it's finally something that I looked at real quick and remembered it before the show started. And remembered it when the show was still going. I can't believe it. Talking about my brain working in weird ways. But yeah, so do you think they're going to risk after all that? Oh, look, he's awake now. After all that press and all the tests and everybody went through the whole season, end of the season and playoffs clear, that they don't try to implement some sort of bubble system. Of course, then you look at the other sports and say, well, it's only been a few players, so why not try it anyway? I'm nervous. Now I'm nervous. Without a bubble prospect, I'm nervous about this hockey season. All those arguments and worries that we were having that I was like, no, they'll be fine in the bubble. I can't say anymore. Kelly, you first. What are you thinking?
I don't know. I guess they figure by 2021 the borders open. I don't know if that's a guarantee. Because if it's not, how are they doing that? Because we're not talking about one team that's got to relocate. That's what, 6?
7 in Canada.
7?
7.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's minor league hockey arenas that they could go to. That's not the question. It's just what city will allow them to do it. Look at the cluster F it was to try to get Toronto a city in baseball.
Yeah.
It was 2 weeks of guessing and hopping.
And meanwhile, the season started and they still didn't have a home set up.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, this is. I don't know. I'm not that invested. I don't care. I'll be interested to see what they do. Are they going to have a full season? Are they going to shorten it? Are they, well, I guess the Olympic break wouldn't affect them because the next year would be the Winter Olympics. This year's summer, or this coming year will be summer. Yeah, I don't know. They're going to do the same thing for the playoffs. What about teams in areas where the restrictions are completely different than other areas? It's a whole. I think that's why it's January 1st. They're hoping a lot of this stuff gets solved. But
yeah, it's gone our way so far.
Yeah.
By the way, before we continue,
we've made so much progress.
Probably, yeah. I do want to say
you're depending on America to get its stuff together here. So that's a bad bet to make.
looks over at DC. Yeah, no, we're fine.
What's the UFC did? They had an island, Fight Island, they called it. We'll have Hockey Island.
There you go.
Well, I do want to say hello to Real Mama Eagle and Matt in the chat right now. I know they're not chatting, but I see them watching. Hello. Oh, no, she just chatted. Hi, Real Mama Eagle. Hello. Hi. I need to DM you after the show, actually, about tomorrow. We're fine. I just need some information. But anyway, Paul, what do you think? Because here, I'll say this. I really do think that looking at the other sports and how there was, I'm going to use air quotes here, guys, minimum problems, minimum. I'm using that air quotes as sarcasm, and how a rich league commissioner will look at it and try to start the season as normal and go into a bubble as the playoff starts, just like they did with the bubble this year. It's going to be unfortunate, but I don't see how they're going to get, and rightfully so. I am not here judging the athletes at all. Just like baseball, just like football, I don't see how you're going to convince all these athletes. You can bring up the money thing all you want, convincing them leaving their families for extended long periods of time. Hell, Matt Niskanen just retired after 1 year with the Flyers, and he was like, I want to go home. I don't want to be anywhere else. I want to go home. And they let him go home. They was like, think about it. Check back in a couple of days. They checked back. He was like, I want to stay home. I could see that happening a lot.
Not just retired, left over $5 million.
Yes, that's the other thing. Yes.
Right now, yeah.
But by the way, Niskanen, thank you for that. I appreciate the $5 million. Yeah.
No, yeah, I was going to say it helps your cap, but he forego because he retired.
Yeah.
He gave up almost $6 million in salary because he doesn't want to go through that isolation again. And he wasn't even isolated nearly as long as, for the teams.
Ouch. Hurt my feelings.
Well, but just realistically,
yeah.
Tuukka Rask, about the same time, decided that he was going home because he didn't want to do it. And Niskanen's like, I'm not doing that
Tuukka's was a little different, but yeah, same thing.
Hey,
go
ahead, Kel.
Not a medical emergency or anything but it kind of along the same lines. Just
I think Tuukka might have left anyway. Yeah, he wasn't loving bubble life, that's for sure.
But you have to imagine that a lot of players are going to feel that way. That they're going to need a better plan than a bubble. I can see most of them getting to a playoff and go, okay, that bubble, we've done it before, fine, got it.
Right.
Sure. I don't see how else they're going to start it off. That's just me.
Yeah, this is completely inconsequential to everything. This is complete minutia. But so this will be the first season that's going to all run in 1 year. If it starts January 1st, sure. It's actually starting January 1st. This isn't a strike shortened or a lockout shortened season where they didn't play games in 1 year, but it would have been that season and blah, blah, blah. So that will be interesting because it should all wrap up depending on how, well, no, it doesn't matter how long. If they play a full season and full playoffs, they're still going to wrap up in 2021. Barring,
it's first time, even the lockout seasons
barring
were 2
alien
years.
Invasion and some sort of other natural disaster that delays, in the middle of the season, there's a 6-month stoppage again. So,
I mean, even the lockout shortened seasons, they're still within 2 years, as you pointed out. So yeah, this will be the first time. Wow, I never even thought of that.
No, because you said the start of the 2021 season. I was like, well, no, it's just the 21 season.
Yeah,
it's for the books. Come on.
As far as for the reality of it.
Yeah, give me a break. I meant,
No, I knew what you're talking about. It just that was when it occurred to me. I was like, well, no, actually.
The NWHL has started their training camps.
Well, have they? Very nice.
They started full team practices. It's like once or twice a week. Obviously, they can't do a bubble because all the players have day jobs. So they're on the honor system. They've got to self-isolate or play it smart like the rest of us are doing in our day-to-day lives. And they get together once or twice a week to practice. And they're shooting for July 1st. That would be a long off season. January 1st as well.
We decided that we're going to play the cold hockey in July. Thank you. Why not? Why not a bubble?
For the NWHL?
Yeah.
They just can't. Everybody has day jobs.
You know what I liked about that is the one moment that you didn't answer me right away was the one moment that Kelly needed to sneeze and we all heard it.
Sorry.
No, the one time that his voice would have covered it up and he stopped answering and all you heard was, God damn it. Perfect.
We planned that,
Is there everything else? Did I cover everything? I think that's all we need to cover.
I can't think of anything else.
Boy, does Gary Bettman look old.
I can only imagine what that poor man has been through.
I was going to say, I'm not going to comment.
6 months.
I'm not going to comment because not for nothing, and I have no love for Gary Bettman, but I certainly have respect after say what you want about the situation. They got the season under wraps, and he's the guy. You know what I mean? What am I going to say negative about him? He probably hasn't slept in 6 months. I know there was an interview where he specifically said, I'm not going to sleep till the playoffs is over. And then they met immediately into draft week almost right after. So I'm sure he hasn't slept in a while. So,
and you're probably looking at training camps ramping up in about a month as well.
But I will still boo him every chance I get.
Maybe longer than that, yeah.
Yeah, December training camp.
Yeah, December 1st, yeah.
I'll still boo the hell out of that man. F him. But yeah, my respect.
Yeah, was that an opportunity missed when he came out to present the cup in the empty place? They should have had a soundtrack of boos.
They should have had a boo going, yes. Well, with that being said, Kelly can be found lurking sometimes on the Obey the Puck Twitter at Obey Puck Show. Follow us there, facebook.com/Obey the Puck, VOC Nation Radio Network for our episodes, vocnation.com, or type in your smartphone podcast app, VOC Nation Radio. Paul, where can people follow you?
I can be followed at PuckmanRI.
Kelly, say goodbye, night, blah.
Good night, bye,
blah. Follow me on Twitter at DanLaw83 and all those places I mentioned before. For Kelly Levy and Paul Baker, I am the above average comedian Dan Calachico. We'll see you in 2 weeks, maybe, depending on what happens. See you next time.